we're going to be talking about the Prismatic Evolution Super Premium Collection drop from Costco. This is the second time they've dropped. They dropped last year, but Costco has dropped more, and even more is actually going to come from other retailers, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Me personally, I don't queue for Costco drops. I used to. We used to go to like prismatic ones and all that, and there would be like 10 people deep in the line an hour before release. Costco used to be so easy, and even then, like if you had the executive business or something like that, it would be so easy to pick up a product from Pokemon, any of it. In fact, at the time, people were sleeping on prismatic for some reason, even before they did Heroes. And really, I've just been seeing some sentiments about the release, and the people at the release is obviously people viewing the people that are turning up like a midnight before, which is crazy to me, but I also understand where these people are coming from, and we'll break that down. But people seeing them and saying, oh, they're all scalpers, and we're not allowed, these guys, they're not opening the packs, they're just trying to sell it. And a bunch of people definitely were. I mean, some people, if you looked at the eBay, you probably would have seen lots of listings in people's cars from just picking up products. I want to talk about some of the people that will be getting these things. I want to be talking about the viability, because a lot of things I've heard about scalping and why people turn up the night before, and these ideas is coming from a place of kind of a privilege in some regards. Like, a lot of these YouTubers are getting paid AdSense, and they have well-paid, they get to do their dream job, whereas some of these people will go into some of their backgrounds and stuff like that, where I can see why making 166 profit plus maybe even 200 if it was right on the nick of release before market corrected, these people, could do with the money, and it's just from one night of staying up or maybe sleeping in the cold for them. Hi, Future Sean here. It turns out I made a mistake on the Costco SPC price from in-store last week. Turns out I used the number 84 in the video because that's what was being reported before the release, but it turns out on the actual release in store from Costco, they costed 67-ish pounds. Which means my figures that I use in the video as a placeholder for like in the calculations we're making is roughly about £24 less in terms of profit, which is even worse for the case of obviously not making sense for them to turn up early to drops or to purchase or to scalp something like a prismatic SPC. A £24 difference, you just put that into the calculations yourself, and you can see how it would make sense for the demographics I listed in the video to spend their night in the cold waiting to go and scalp, basically. Anyways, now back to the video. So let's talk about these things, let's break it down. So current market price, we'll use that to kind of do our calculations today using the trusty board. £260, which, bro, to me that's actually quite high. I think we started off at about 300. I'm just moving the camera so you can have a look. 260, just a bunch of like 260 and 250 and just that type of thing. It might be flipped for you guys. If it is, I apologize. But getting back onto it, these retailed, oh my days, I think it was like £84. Let's say £84 or £85, let's say that. Regular retail for these was about £90 last year, but with Costco they like giving stuff a bit cheaper because they get a good wholesale price, so they like to pass some of those savings on. It was about £85, let's say, roughly. It might have actually been less, and my memory might be serving me incorrectly, but let's say that. So about $250 market, with a £85 buy-in, it's £165 of profit. £165 of profit is, I mean, what do you call it, in a regular days of work, like in 8 hours, that's about £20 an hour. In dollars, it's about $27 an hour. It's not a mad wage, and I mean, this is assuming someone has been in line for 8 hours. If they haven't, fair enough, but there's so many people that I think would easily do this. First, we'll start with students, whether that be uni students that are either off or willing to skip their lectures for the degree course they don't really care about, or even college students who are dead broke, and this is an easy way to make, nearly what, £165, I think we calculated on our thing. Those are the people that would benefit from that, especially if they got two. They went, I think some Costco's did, I think Stevenage did one per, if reports I've seen are correct, and some did two. So imagine if it wasn't 165 and you were at a Costco that allowed two per membership, you made 300 and what, 300 and was it 40? 165 by 2, sorry, 330, my bad, added £10 on there, but still £330 profit, assuming you can sell it right now or today. And also bear in mind there are buyer protection fees on eBay, so they probably made a little bit lower, but just going for market, yeah, that is a decent haul for one singular person for just a couple hours, maybe 8 hours in line, 10 hours in line, something like that. Self-employed people, that's another one I want to mark off the list. Self-employed people can work whenever they want, depending on their self-employment, but obviously people who have money, they're gonna, or have time, they're gonna be able to do it. Work from home people who don't get audited. If you do get regularly checked in on for working at home, like you have to touch your computer every now and again, then yeah, maybe you won't be able to. That's another example. And finally, the biggest legion of all, the unemployed, the people who are on benefits, the people on all these different things. They might have just bare time, infinite time, or maybe people have lost their jobs and that's why they're unemployed and all that stuff. And these are the people that will definitely benefit from either making 165 off one per person Costco's, or going with a group of people and then paying them like a cut or something, or even them just getting two on their ones. These are all types of people that would easily line up. And I think the reason why I have to bring this up is because there's a lot of people in the Pokemon space that have convinced themselves that scalpers and investors as well don't kind of know, well, not that they don't know, but rather they're doing stuff for chicken change, for peanuts, which is just so ridiculous. You can see here, like I said, some of these people, if they went to one place that only allowed one per, that's £165 profit. If they got somewhere that allowed two, that's £330 profit in what, 8 hours of just sitting around. A lot of people were going to be sitting around anyway, particularly unemployed people, whatever their situation may be, even kids, like I said, the students. So it's just not wild to see these things happening. When people see easy money, it's easy money. And what do you call it? That's not even taking into consideration people who are investing, people who want to put stock in their stores because they don't have distro access. There's so many different motivations for people to do this, and it financially does check out for a lot of people. And the assumption that it doesn't is coming from these YouTubers that probably make a lot of money on AdSense. And this is coming from somebody who doesn't really, ever go to Smith's anymore. Sorry, not Smith. Yeah, definitely. I don't go to Smith's anymore, and I don't queue at Costco because I run a business in Pokemon that doesn't really benefit from me getting measly portions from in-store, if you get what I mean. Retail prismatic is also hard to come by. People who are regular fans are also going to be motivated to get 15 packs of prismatic for as cheap as they can. That is a no-brainer. The YouTubers that I see that are very, very anti-scalp, anti-market price paying, still, would turn up, and then just to get told that they can't purchase, obviously, but that's the reality. There's also, like I said, the investors. I briefly mentioned them. The potential for this product is not even fully realized. People think it's expensive now at £300, but £300, or now it's probably at £250, £260, like we said, for a low pop. Look at the promo. Low pop. That's population of PSA 10s. Low gem rate. Low, so I'm telling you, the amount of, people sending in this promo, there's not many 10s coming back. And the reason why is because this promo, instead of it being in a sleeved little thing, it's actually inside a box type of thing, where it's cardboard on cardboard contact, which means when people are shaking it about, when it's traveling from America to the UK to be put in stores, or any country, whatever, this is, depleting the possibility of there being PSA 10s. So that promo is only £25 right now, but it's gonna go up if it follows the current trends. 15 packs of prismatic with that promo as well. 15 packs of prismatic. Right now, you can snipe maybe cheaper prismatic products. I mean, I do think that things like the EV pouch have gone up a little bit, but you know, tech sticker collections, those little things that people haven't been watching. At least a month ago, they were still relatively cheaper to buy in and get a low pack value or pack price per pack. And right now, you can really benefit from that, because we even had a Pokemon Center reload of prismatic bundles, and we're getting just these trickles of prismatic that are just happening every now and again. But once prismatic is gone, an item with 15 packs of prismatic, I can't emphasize to you enough how sought after that's going to be when prismatic is as scarce as evolving skies, which will happen because people want to rip prismatic and the pull rates are terrible. You'll just get left with, you know, an expensive box that looks cool, that stores well, that displays well. It has everything going for it, and I think a lot of people, some people, the smart ones, will be in line for something like that. Especially if a couple years down the line as well, in terms of value, it will be ridiculous. Another point that I put was demand shown by Costco Online. Listen, so Tuesday, I believe, which was yesterday, there was a Costco online drop. Now, we've had a Costco online drop for the Charizard UPC, so we anticipated that there would be one for these prismatic SPCs. This drop was a shambles. Some people had early queue links. Some people got in queue right when their their monitors went off, or a group or Twitter said their queue was up, and the queue was already packed. The queue was getting botted, and the website could not handle it. You got through the website, you tried logging in, it wouldn't let you log in. And Costco isn't one of those places that keeps your session logged in a long time. You normally, going on the Costco website, you have to log in, add to cart, and go. The add to cart button wasn't working either. It was an absolute shambles, guys. There were a couple people that managed to check out, and they received, a lot of them, grand majority I saw of them, received emails saying, sorry, we've had to cancel your order, along them lines. And with customer staff saying, we have to, we're going to be switching, reallocating this to in-store rather than online, because their website just can't hack it. Their website is like 10 years old. If you know Costco infrastructure, you know that stuff was built when the buildings were built in this country. I live in the UK, you can do the maths. It's crazy. Now, if this means there's going to be another in-store drop, we can expect more shambles, frankly. Maybe it will be even worse. But that goes to show you the amount of demand for this set, prismatic. Even when people aren't looking at it and everyone's looking at Ascended, it's crazy. The amount of demand is crazy. And also just the value, looking at the cards. We can get into all that another day. But as you can see, the demand is really there. This release was always going to be solid. And that's why people are willing to turn up to get these products. And they're willing to wait for an entire night. It's crazy. My final point on this is that one of the ideas I've seen floating around, and I'm going to probably talk about this in a lot of videos, is that the idea that people who are buying from scalpers, in order to stop prices going up, they need to stop buying. Now, that sounds like it makes sense, and it would in theory if everyone stopped buying at these prices. However, there are plenty of people that are happy to pay at these prices. Some people that are naive to Pokemon and don't realize that things are really expensive, like parents. And then there's people who make money either way. So we're talking YouTubers who just make bears of AdSense opening these products because it doesn't matter to them. They're not like, they already are loaded. Or just rich people in general as well that make money non-Pokemon related. And I've been seeing, like I said, this idea that guys, we need to stop buying. But I'm also seeing these same people begging to want to get a product to open. Guys, let me tell you something. If you want something, anything in this market, right, it's not scalper prices. It's the market price. It's the price that people are willing to pay for it. Look at Perfect Order. I'll get into this in another video, but no one is going to make you pay £200 for Perfect Order. No scalper can make you do that. That's just the market. If you want something now, as long as it doesn't bankrupt you, I implore you to consider buying it for yourself, because these items will only become more expensive as time goes on. And when they're gone, they're gone, and maybe things will just be too expensive. Look at Sun and Moon booster boxes and ancillary products like with ETBs and stuff like that. It's crazy. Look at Sword and Shield. Scarlet and Violet, it's not going to be easier for you. Don't let people tell you that you are a wrong person, or that you're that it's immoral for you to spend your hard-earned money trying to buy these products. Because if it's going to make you happy, if it's going to be a sealed investment for you or your loved ones, or a present for someone who really wants it, that's what it's about. It's not about what other people think. And if someone judges you for spending your money, it doesn't matter. And that's what I'm trying to push on this channel, is that this is a channel where we're going to tell people the reality of what's on the ground, the reason why prices are where they are, the reason why things look good from an investment standpoint, the reason why things look bad. And the truth is, the most important thing is going to be, don't let anyone tell you what you're going to do with your money, when to sell, how to sell, why you sell. You don't have to give any reason for that. If you decide to buy something and sell it tomorrow, that's your prerogative. You're not a scalper. You are just the owner of the item that can do so as they wish, selling to buyers who aren't under duress, but are they are happy with their price. And with that being said, the last thing that I have to say is more opportunities are coming. We've seen, I've seen that Asmodee have opened up to their patrons, basically, that you can order in SPCs, and there's a lot of product apparently, and people are getting a couple cases. So check out your LGSs. Keep an eye out. I believe they supply some bigger stores, maybe Smith's, Tesco, Entertainer, same thing now. Those type of things, Argos potentially. These places are the types of places that maybe get in a restock, and this may give you another chance to get for £90, which isn't that far off from the Costco price. And even then, if we can get any close to retail, that is a W, and you should 100% buy if you can afford it and it makes sense. And whether you're investing, whether you're opening, it's just a no-brainer. 15 packs of prismatic, guys, lock in. And that is the end of that. And don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do with your money.